Alrighty, still working on ideas for our big red button. Trying to come up with the whole diagram here. I have a Kelly KDZ speed controller on my motorcycle. And a permanent magnet motor. So this is the diagram that it's wired up by. I made a copy of the diagram and kind of highlighted and drawn in a few things. The original diagram shows the battery and the contactor and the motor and everything like that. I moved the battery down a bit, that way I could show in the 500 amp fuse. And then there's a battery cable going to our main cutoff switch. And then coming off of the main cutoff switch is the power that goes to the key switch, and also a battery cable that goes to the main contactor. On the other side of the main contactor, the power comes out and goes to the motor and also to the B plus of the battery, or the speed controller, excuse me. This key switch power has a 5 amp fuse. It goes through a key switch, which once the key switch is turned on, it sends power, full pack voltage, by the way, to the main contactor and also to J2 pin number 1 power. The negative for our main contactor, for the coil of it, I've highlighted in this blue, goes to the J1 pin main relay, number 3 here. And let me see, is there anything else we need to point out? We got the precharge resistor, goes across our main contactor. That way it lets some power go across even when this is turned off. And then our main contactor also has a diode going across the switched coil as a protection for that. Okay, so that pretty much lays out the way the bike is currently set up. I was trying to come up with a concept to get rid of like this extra cable, and why have a manual turn off main power disconnect and electronic power disconnect and extra cables and all this stuff. So this is drawing A. We'll go to drawing B here. Same basic drawing layout and everything. We've got our battery down here. We've got our 500 amp fuse like normal. Second line of our switch would be this purple line. And that would go through a resistor to a green LED on your dash. And then the third power from our switch would be this orange wire, and that would go to your J2 number 1 power to power up our speed controller. So if I understand this right, by turning this switch on, it would apply power to the precharge resistor to precharge the speed controller. It would apply power to a green LED light, and it would also apply power to our speed controller, and it should be able to go through its diagnostics to light up the red light. It usually lights up to show that it's working, and then you get a green light to tell you you're good to go. And then if all that works, the way it works is it sends the negative through here to where it used to be the solenoid, the electronic contactor, and then that opened up the circuit to make sure that you went. Well, I'm thinking that negative line that used to go to the main contactor can now be the negative for our go light on the dash. So as long as the speed controller gets power, goes through its check, and everything's a go, it would normally complete the circuit to the solenoid, the electronic contactor, and it would make the the connection, and everything would be great. You'd have a green light to go. In this situation, you should have enough power to fire up the speed controller. It goes through its diagnostic till you're good to go, and then it would be trying to turn on the main contactor, but it would just be turning on our green LED to tell us everything that we've got a go from the speed controller. As long as we've got a go from the speed controller, you kick on your main power and you drive away.